My 20-year-old coworker, 36-year-old female, called me 3 days ago to say that her boyfriend kicked her out and she had nowhere to go. I allowed her and her dog to spend the night because I knew she had no other options on such short notice. The next day she called in sick to work and I ended up covering for her. Normally, I prefer to live alone, but I am allowing her to stay because I've been in a similar situation and know how terrifying it can be. However, I'm concerned that she has no plans to leave. Every time I bring up the subject, she ignores it or changes the topic. I also have a cat who I have to keep in my bedroom 24/7 because she does not get along with the puppy. Tonight was the breaking point for me. I left for work at 4:30 a.m. and returned home at 8 p.m. to find the apartment completely torn apart as she was rearranging things. She had locked my cat in a different room without access to food, water, or a litter box. I didn't confront her because she can be aggressive and I didn't want to start a fight. To calm down, I took a long shower. When I got out, I told her I was going to bed and she said she needed to run out for a minute. As soon as she left, her dog started barking and I couldn't calm him down. This wouldn't have been a problem if I were alone in the house, but I have neighbors upstairs. I appreciate how quiet they are and try to show them the same respect. I texted her to let her know that her dog was causing a disturbance and asked when she would be home. She responded that it was a big adjustment for him and that I should just let him sleep with me. So I moved all of my cat's necessities to another room and let the dog in. However, this did not help and he continued to bark. Around 10 p.m., she posted pictures on her social media of her at a party. It is now past midnight, she is still not home, and her dog is still barking, although not as much. I have to leave for work at 4:30 a.m. It is currently 12:30 a.m., and I still have not been able to sleep. I'm sure I will hear complaints from my neighbors tomorrow. I initially told her she could stay until she found her own place, but that was before I realized how inconsiderate and ungrateful she would be. I now understand that I should have addressed this issue sooner, but as a new adult, I am still learning how to assert myself. Would I be the jerk if I asked her to leave after telling her she could stay until she found something else? Any advice on how to broach the subject and stand my ground would be greatly appreciated. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. You would not be an idiot. If she has people to party with, then she has places to stay. I am also guessing that if she is out that late, she will most likely not be able to work in the morning, expecting you to continue to cover for her. I'm not sure how hard she has been looking for a place. My guess would be not at all. If you have someone who can be there with you to support you while you ask her to leave and she packs her stuff, that would be best. Tell her the dog is causing issues with your neighbors, and they both need to leave by the end of the day. Info. If she is coming and going at odd hours, does she have a key? Comment 2. She's found a cheap place to stay, and it's called your place. Tell her that she needs to pack up her stuff and go somewhere else today. If she's homeless, that's on her. But you've had enough. Kick her out. Then change the locks and put your home back together like it was before she got there. If she starts talking you at work to other coworkers and putting you down, inform them as to how she really is. Take back your peace and quiet and your sanity. Now for the update, thanks for tuning in again. So the situation with my coworker has gone from bad to a complete nightmare. I thought things couldn't get worse, but boy was I wrong. After that night with the barking dog and the party pictures, I was running on fumes at work. I couldn't focus, and my boss noticed. He pulled me aside and asked if everything was okay. I didn't want to spill my personal life at work, but I ended up telling him a bit about what was going on. Turns out, my coworker had been telling people at work a different story. She said I offered to let her stay as long as she needed, and that I was loving having her dog around. I was shocked. I've been trying to be nice, but this was just too much. I felt betrayed and angry. I didn't know who she had told or what they thought of me now. I got home that day and she was there, acting like nothing happened. I decided it was time to talk. I told her she needed to find a place by the end of the week. She got mad, said I was being unreasonable, and that I couldn't just kick her out. I reminded her that this was my place, and she was just supposed to be here temporarily. She stormed out with her dog, and I thought that was the end of it. But the next day, she didn't show up for work. I got a call from her phone, but it wasn't her. It was a hospital. She had been in an accident. I felt my heart drop. I was mad at her, sure, but I didn't want anything bad to happen to her. They said she was asking for me. I didn't know what to do. I went to the hospital after my shift, and there she was, bandaged up but okay. She had no one else. And in that moment, I realized that despite everything, I couldn't just leave her alone. I told her she could come back to my place to recover, but we needed to set some ground rules. She agreed. It was a strange feeling, sitting there in the hospital, both of us not really knowing what to say. I was still upset about the lies and the disrespect, but seeing her hurt like that, it changed something in me. When we got back to my apartment, things were different. She was quieter, more considerate. She kept her dog in her room and made sure my cat was okay. It was like the accident had been a wake-up call for both of us. We started talking more about her plans, about what she wanted to do once she was better. She started looking for places to live, for real this time. Then, just when I thought we were getting to a good place, I came home early one day and found her packing. She had found a place. It was sudden and I didn't even know how to feel. Part of me was relieved, but another part was worried. Had we just patched things up for her to leave and maybe end up in another bad situation? She saw the look on my face and assured me that this place was good, that she'd be okay. She thanked me for everything, and just like that, she was gone. The apartment was quiet again. Just me and my cat. I sat there for a long time thinking about everything that had happened. It's been a week since she left, and I've heard from coworkers that she's doing well. I'm glad for her, I really am. It's been a busy ride, but I learned a lot about myself and about helping others. Sometimes you just have to stand your ground, but also know when to give someone a second chance. Thanks for sticking with me through this. My family blames me for nephew's backyard disaster because of a toy truck. So I fix the toy and teach them a lesson on gratitude by landscaping their entire yard with a miniature replica of the mess he made. I, a 26-year-old female, bought my nephew a birthday present for his 4th birthday party that happened this past Saturday. I got him a set of little truck and digging toys. It had a dump truck you could lift the back of up and down, a little excavator thing you can dig with, and a few little accessory things like a little belt you can wind a crank on to move dirt into the back of the truck. The type of thing that you can keep a kid busy with in a sandbox for 2 hours was my thought. The only instructions I received from my sister-in-law, who is 35 years old, for the party was that there's a peanut allergy in my nephew's class, all his pre-K friends attended, that we would be fed, so bringing food wasn't needed, and that it was a turtle-themed birthday party. Apparently, my nephew insisted LOL. We didn't get any other info. The birthday party came and I was so excited for him to open what I got him. I knew he'd love it. He is obsessed with trucks, specifically dump trucks and digging machines. He opens it, is thrilled. I got a few "what a nice auntie" comments from family and friends. My brother and sister-in-law seem to be hyping him up about his gift. Everyone is happy. He got a ton of nice presents, but I felt a little proud that he really loved what I got him. Party ends, we all go home without a hitch. This morning I get a call from my brother, who is 35 years old, that he wants me to come pick up that freaking birthday truck from their house and choose me out about asking next time about what I buy him. I asked him why and asked if my nephew didn't like it or if it was broken or something. My brother says no, but that my nephew has completely torn up their backyard and has dug so many potholes that my brother twisted his ankle in one and is pissed off that I would buy my nephew a toy that could destroy their yard. I told my brother that I was surprised that a plastic digging truck toy could even pull up that much earth. He goes on to angrily tell me that my nephew got bored digging in just his sandbox and is now digging everywhere, found a garden trowel, and is digging up their yard to hell with both his toys and anything he can find now. Apparently, his toy is strong enough to dig at the normal dirt in the yard once he gets the grass pulled away. I apologized and told him I'll send a gift card for a different gift. My sister-in-law and now my mother have since phoned me and told me that my gift should have been cleared since it was something that could destroy their yard and that they don't appreciate the lack of consideration in getting him a big item like that. Those types of gifts should be reserved for parents, as my mother has now told me. Am I the idiot for not clearing my gift with them? My boyfriend is on my side of no, that was a great gift for a kid, but my family is not. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1, absolutely not the jerk. The kiddo's got enough time to dig all these holes, so I'm guessing he's unsupervised while he's playing with the truck. Which, what the frick? Those parents must do better. If your brother didn't want him digging holes where he shouldn't have been, he simply could have watched the kid and made sure he used it where he was supposed to use it. That being his sandbox, for everyone to criticize you for getting him a nice gift instead of going in on your brother and sister-in-law who disappear long enough for their small kid to make the backyard look like the Holes movie is insane. Don't get a gift card. Don't do anything. You did your part. They need to wake up and do theirs. Comment 2. Not the jerk. As a previous commenter said, this was a failure of the parents. You don't owe them money for their yard or a new birthday present or even to pick up the old one. They just need to tell their child not to dig up the yard. The child keeps their favorite present and the parent's yard is safe. Everyone's happy. As far as clearing the present, it was age appropriate and not destructive in itself. If they want to vet every present their kid gets, then they can just send out a list of gifts their child wants. Otherwise, they're going to get some gifts they aren't happy about. Maybe gift them a drum set or trumpet next year. Now, for the update. Thanks for all the comments on my last post. So after the whole birthday gift fiasco, things got even more out of hand. I went over to my brother's place to pick up the toy, and the backyard was a disaster. My nephew had dug up not just the grass, but he'd also found his way to the flower beds. My sister-in-law's prized roses were uprooted, and the look on her face was a mix of anger and heartbreak. I felt terrible, honestly. I never thought a simple toy could lead to such chaos. I apologized again and took the toy back, but the damage was done. My brother was limping around and my sister-in-law was on the verge of tears looking at her garden. I promised to pay for the landscaping to fix the yard, but that didn't seem to ease the tension. The next day I got a text from my sister-in-law. She said my nephew had been asking for his toy, not understanding why it was taken away. He was throwing tantrums, refusing to eat, and just being a total mess. She asked if there was any way to modify the toy so it couldn't dig up the yard, but still be fun for him. I felt a pang of guilt. I didn't want my nephew to be unhappy, but I also didn't want to cause any more trouble. I spent that night researching and found a local craftsman who could modify the toy. He added rubber edges to the excavator and dump truck, making them safe for indoor use and less destructive outdoors. It cost me a bit, but I thought it was worth it to make things right. I dropped the modified toy off the next day. My nephew's eyes lit up when he saw it, and he hugged me tight. It was a bittersweet moment. I was happy to see him smiling again, but I knew my relationship with my brother and sister-in-law was strained. Later that evening, my brother called. He thanked me for fixing the toy and for offering to pay for the yard. He admitted he overreacted and apologized for the harsh words. It seemed like things were on the mend, but there was still an awkwardness between us. The following day, I heard from my mother. She told me my sister-in-law's roses were a special breed that had been in her family for generations. They weren't just any flowers. They were a connection to her late grandmother. I felt even worse knowing this. I offered to find a specialist who could possibly save the roses, but I knew some things couldn't be fixed. In the end, the yard was repaired, and my nephew had his toy back, albeit a safer version. My brother and I are slowly getting back to normal, but I can tell my sister-in-law is still hurt. I learned a hard lesson about considering the implications of my actions, even when they come from a place of love. Thanks for reading about my roller coaster of a week. My lifelong friend uses me for favors and ignores my needs. So when she asked me to babysit, I told her to find a new sucker and blocked her everywhere. I, a 30-year-old female, have been friends with someone I'll refer to as Lee, also 30 since middle school. Over the last 5 years or so, I have felt that I am more of a friend to Lee than she is to me. I've thought that maybe I am just an annoyance to her, trying to be friends. When I had my now 2-year-old son, I was super excited for Lee to be there and be involved as my best friend. I made sure she was involved in planning the baby shower, not financially, just involved in the ideas and the games planning. We even scheduled the baby shower around her work schedule so she could come, since we were so close. Or so I thought. After I had him, she didn't come to meet him for 3 months. There was always an excuse as to why she couldn't stop by one day. So she has only met him one time. Well, she got pregnant and called me to tell me. We cried together and were super excited about it. She last minute asked if she could have the gender reveal at my house because their venue fell through. So I said sure, and I made them a gender reveal cake. Then she let a coworker plan her baby shower and left me out entirely. Even after we spoke about me helping and she said she was going to make sure I was included, she just called me last minute and asked if I could make all the desserts and cake for the party. Ended up being for free because her baker backed out last minute. I already felt left out, so I decided to do it. She said they'd pay me, but they never did. Whatever. No big deal, so I just didn't mention it again. Well, right at the end of her pregnancy, I got pregnant again, and this one came with a lot of complications and hospitalizations. So I still haven't met her now 8-month-old baby due to either her schedule never being clear or me conveniently being sick all day with HG or in the actual hospital. Over the last 8 months, however, I've texted her asking to come over, planned a baby shower, gave her 2 months notice, and she said she'd just request time off and it wouldn't be a problem, and planned my son's second birthday party, to neither of which she could come because she had to be at work early those 2 days. I've also invited her over to just hang out and let the kids meet, but she hasn't responded. All this to say, she texted me randomly the other day and asked if I could take her son's professional photos, again for free. I own a photography studio in my home. I am 38 weeks pregnant and haven't seen her once my entire pregnancy, or hardly spoken to her. So my husband immediately said absolutely not. He went on a small rant about how we've tried to go over there, invited her over here, and she always has a last-minute excuse, even after making plans to do something. So I haven't responded. I want to do his photos, but my husband is right, I think. I'm being a doormat. Or am I being an a-hole by just ignoring the question? Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Sadly, I think your husband is right. She seems to ask for everything, but doesn't do anything for you. You don't need the stress of an argument now, so ignore her until you feel like dealing with her several months after your child is born. Or simply email her a list of baby photographers, wish her well, and block her on all media. Good luck, not the idiot. Comment 2. She's using you for what you can do for her. She's not a true friend. I would tell her how you feel, and that it seems she only wants to communicate when she wants desserts or pictures for free. Not the idiot. Now for the update, thanks for sticking around for more of my life's drama. So after I didn't respond to Lee's text about the photos, things got even messier. My husband and I were in the middle of moving to a new house because of a mold issue in our old place that was making my pregnancy complications worse. In the chaos of packing, Lee showed up unannounced. She had the nerve to bring her son, all while I was knee-deep in boxes and bubble wrap. She said she was here to help, but really, she just sat on the couch scrolling through her phone while her kid wreaked havoc. Then, as if her lack of help wasn't enough, she started crying about how her partner had cheated on her. I felt bad, of course, but it was like she only came to dump her problems on me. I comforted her, but inside I was fuming. Here I was about to pop, dealing with my own mess, and she had the audacity to play the victim. A few days later, my husband lost his job. The company he worked for was caught in some illegal activities, and they had to let go of half their staff. We were already stressed with the move and my health, and now this? It was like everything was falling apart. But Lee, she didn't even know. I didn't tell her because, honestly, what was the point? She'd just make it about her somehow? In the middle of all this, my son's birthday came up. We had a small party planned at the new house, and guess who showed up? Lee with a store-bought cake, acting like she was the world's best friend. She didn't even acknowledge the fact that she hadn't been there for me or my family. Everyone else could see right through her, but she was oblivious. The final straw came when I went into labor. It was a difficult birth, and my baby girl was in the NICU for a week. Lee came to visit once, stayed for maybe 5 minutes, and spent the whole time complaining about how hard single motherhood was going to be for her. She didn't ask about my daughter or how I was doing. Nothing. After we got home from the hospital, Lee had the gall to ask if I could watch her son because she needed a break. I couldn't believe it. Here I was recovering from childbirth with a newborn and a toddler, and she wanted me to babysit? My husband was livid. He told her off, saying we had enough on our plate. She left in a huff, and I haven't heard from her since. It's been a couple of weeks now. My husband found a new job, thankfully, and my daughter is doing well. But Lee, she's out there probably telling everyone how I abandoned her in her time of need. I should be mad, but I'm just tired. Tired of the one-sided friendship, tired of her drama. I keep hoping she'll change, that she'll realize how much she's hurt me. But deep down, I know she won't. And yet here I am, still not cutting her off completely. Maybe I'm the fool here, but I can't help it. She's been a part of my life for so long. Thanks for reading. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.